Group calls on police boss to interrogate Saraigbe over threat to cause crisis in Niger Delta. The Niger Delta Stakeholders Assembly (NDSA) on Saturday called on the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, to interrogate Anab Saraigbe over threat to cause crisis in the oil-rich Niger Delta region, just as they said that he was being used by the Executive Vice President, upstream NNPCL, Mrs. Oresimeyiwa Eyesan, and Chief Financial Officer (CFO) Mr. Umar Ajiya to wage major war against the group. Chief Executive Officer GCEO of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), Engineer Mele Kyari. The group, in a press release signed by Akwebi Awalaye Ofori, President, and Anito Forowa Gabriel, Secretary, linked the vituperation of Saraigbe against Kyari Mele to Oresimeyiwa Eyesan and Umar Ajiya. According to the group, we read the recent misadventure by meddlesome interloper, rebel ross, and notorious gold digger in the Niger Delta, one Anab Saraigbe in the media. The serial paid destabilization agent is a self-acclaimed national coordinator of an amorphous group, South Elders Forum. Findings by us have revealed that he is the founder and the only member of the group, purely put together by him to extort and blackmail the gullible public. With no visible means of livelihood, Saraigbe traversed the political landscape as a ready tool and mercenary for any hajat job. A discredited individual and political turncoat who can be railroaded for any mischief with a plate of porridge. It is of public knowledge in the Niger Delta that Saraigbe can take up any assignment to discredit anyone so far the price is right. This is how he survives. A legendary blackmailer. His latest victim is the Group Chief Executive Officer (GCEO) of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), Engineer Mele Kyari, the group added. They said that in his latest sponsored media outreach, Saraigbe, in usual uncouth manner, poured venom on unjustifiably malign the hard-earned reputation of Mele Kyari in desperation to satisfy the interest of his paymasters. In dabbling into an unfamiliar terrain, Saraigbe in his media appearances displayed crass ignorance and dished out errant nonsense. He was not properly tutored by his sponsors before he was hurriedly packaged into television studios. Otherwise, how does any rationale being explained the accusation he leveled against Mele Kyari that Warri and Port Harcourt refineries were operating optimally before they were shut down for routine maintenance by Mele Kyari? Well-informed industry operators are familiar with the age-long mandatory norms of 3 to 5 years turnaround cycle for a refinery. There's a rule that this means that in every 3, 4, or 5 years, a facility will undergo extensive routine maintenance. Even before Mele Kyari well thought out action, Warri and Port Harcourt refineries were long overdue for their periodical overhauling of their component unit, a development which paved the way for perennial breakdown and attendant epileptic operation. More so, Saraigbe and his co-travelers ought to know that the typical period for a turnaround is 1 or 2 years or more. The question is, what crime has Mele Kyari committed for adhering to this mandatory practice? Is it that Saraigbe and his cohorts expected the refineries to knock down completely before the turnaround maintenance TAM is ordered? Describing Saraigbe as a dishonest individual and pathological liar, the group said these character traits enabled him to become an easy tool for any dirty job. To further destroy Mele Kyari in the public psyche, Saraigbe accused the NNPCL GCEO of misleading President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the removal of subsidy on petroleum products. This is terrible. It shows that Saraigbe requires urgent medical attention. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu left no one in doubt during his election campaigns and electioneering exercise over his position on subsidy on petroleum products. President Tinubu and indeed all other presidential candidates were unequivocal ahead of the 2023 elections over their readiness and preparedness to remove subsidy on petroleum products if elected as president. President Tinubu, apparently to drive home this conviction, announced the removal of the subsidy in his inaugural speech on May 29, 2023. From the foregoing, does it appear that Mr. President requires an advice from Mele Kyari on the issue of subsidy? It is only an insane that would therefore accuse Mele Kyari of not properly advising President Tinubu on the way to go on the contentious issue. To Saraigbe, Mele Kyari is solely responsible for and be held accountable for every problem hampering optimal performance and service delivery by the NNPCL. One would have expected him to muster courage by calling on his principals and sponsors in the like of the Executive Vice President, Upstream, NNPCL, Mrs. Orisemaiwa Eyesan, and Chief Financial Officer, CFO, Mr. Umar Ajiya, to quit since they have lost the momentum to function as senior members of the company's management team, they stated. The group disclosed that Orisemaiwa Eyesan and Umar Ajiya are behind the tension and panic in NNPCL. They are the ones sponsoring Saraigbe, another notorious element, to pull down the roof because of their inordinate ambition to unseat Mele Kyari as NNPC GCEO. They are deliberately creating crisis valves within the system in order to pull down the roof. Who is the most senior Niger Deltan in the management cadre of NNPCEO? Saraigbe chorused copiously in his media interviews. Orisemaiwa Eyesan is the person. The group added that those behind the move to get rid of Mele Kyari, because they are haunted by his patriotic zeal and commitment to deliver on the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are working on two permutations, saying they are favoring Umar Ajiya from the north and Orisemaiwa Eyesan from Niger Delta to unseat Mele Kyari, who appointed Saraigbe as spokesman of the Niger Delta. At what forum was the decision reached in the entire Niger Delta that Mele Kyari must be eased out by January 2025 or hell will be let loose in the region? The decision must have been reached way back at the forum of the so-called South Elders Forum, where Saraigbe is the sole administrator. Orisemaiwa Eyesan and Umar Ajiya must have sponsored this meeting to come up with a one-man squad communique threatening mayhem in the Niger Delta, in the event that President Tinubu preserved Mele Kyari in office beyond 2025. They wrote, and I quote, "The Niger Delta Stakeholders Assembly, NDSA, make bold to state unequivocally here that no forum was held in any part of the region where a threat was issued to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sack Mele Kyari or face mayhem in the Niger Delta." The purported meeting of the South Elders Forum and its outcome commonly existed in the heads of Saraigbe and his co-travelers in the person of Orisemaiwa Eyesan and Umar Ajiya, who are desperate to succeed their boss. The group says the medium to pass a vote of implicit confidence on Engineer Mele Kyari as Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and will make bold to start here that his transformative initiative and reforms have restored sanity in the handling of affairs in the business conglomerate. It is no longer business as usual with Mele Kyari at the helm of affairs. Mele Kyari has turned the heat on the corrupt and inept in the system, and they are fighting back by deploying Saraigbe and other charlatans on senseless mission to discredit Mele Kyari and the public space. The agenda is dead on arrival. Right-thinking Niger Deltans and indeed Nigerians cannot be fooled. Alright, on this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.